All
So
right.
let's check
This is
real
our
quick.
intro every time. Are we live?
It's a good one.
We are live.
We're live?
Hey,
Okay. We're live from Network School in Malaysia. I'm here with Jean and Eric from Ipe City. It's been a long week, but a good one. Where do you guys want to start?
So what's your thought? The first thought about, so just give it a context. We are in Singapore, actually network school, but very close to Singapore. And yesterday we were on the Network State Conference.
John was
So-
speaking, main
Oh,
stage.
yeah, you. So let's start talking. What was your first impression about the conference,
For me,
Eric?
Well, I love Singapore, so it's good to be back. And this time there were two side events that were really interesting with very relevant people from the space. And then the conference was like the nail in the coffin. Too many people, very interesting people. And after such a week, like the social battery was really, really low.
Yeah.
So I saw very few talks from the conference because there were so many people to talk to. Learn a lot of things. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would say very much the same. I did both token and networks state conference, and man, there's a stark difference between like the two communities. But it's definitely nice. I think being at the network school is good to like decompress. I woke up at 6 a.m., went and literally touched some grass, like walked on the sand. And I would say that for the first time since I've been working on all of this stuff and like what we're doing, it's the highest concentration of people thinking about very similar ideas. And so naturally the conversations are just like tier one convos.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you are among other people that are involved in the same industry, makes the conversations easier. So, and here I think different from other pop-ups and other startup cities that I went. There's at least before today, because today is an open day. There's a lot of visitors and it's more crowded. There is this feeling of like slowness. It's fine. You go have a breakfast alone. There is no rush to talk to everyone all the time. So this is interesting. But everyone that you get to know, it's interesting. They are developing some project related to network states or crypto in governments or AI. So that's, and this is about the people, but about my first impressions of the network school was like, wow, like the infrastructure of Forest City, which is a new city, a special economic zone, Zoho, here in Malaysia. It was like incredible, really solar punk, beautiful, modern.
I thought it was gonna be like, I remember some folks said, oh, it was kind of like a ghost town, but man, it was like there's infrastructure all the way. There's a 24/7 grocery store here. Like
Oh, I didn't
the
know.
city is like actually buzzing. I was
This is
surprised.
new. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Last year it was way more quiet.
Yeah.
But like for the last year, because of the announcement of the special economic zone, they've started to open
Mhm.
businesses around. Like now there's a postal office where you can collect parcels. There's a bunch of businesses. Like you can do your laundry at the corner.
Nice.
So it's growing.
Yeah, but I read some posts on Reddit and on Twitter, like, oh, it's kind of moldy and so on. So my mind, like what I was expecting, it was something like kind of not great the infrastructure, and then I got here.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about? Like, that's,
I could actually live here. Like I was thinking about it. I think I want to spend some time here
Oh, yeah,
next
definitely.
year.
I would think about proposing Balaj to create like a e-residency where you can stay, for example, 3 months or something like that. I will do that for 100% because it's just to explain the program. So you pay like monthly or annually, and you get a room, free food like lunch, dinner, and there's a massive gym where you can work out, and many infrastructure to like rooms like that to work quietly, co-working space and coffee and like so if you are I don't know if you are single or if you are early in your career or just want to spend some time really locked in, like working and networking and learning, burning, as Balaj says. I think there's no other place like so cheap like this, and with such a great crowd of people.
Yeah. Actually, hotels do this. Like in Barbados, especially, they have this like time capsule thing where you like buy a hotel room and you can come for a certain amount of time throughout the year in certain blocks. So that could probably be one model like worth experimenting. Like you get a yearly membership, and of that year, you get 100 days that you can like pop into because sometimes someone might want to come for like a few days, like a week or something, and not be able to spend the whole month. So that could be an interesting model. But I was super impressed. I had like very similar thoughts, and I was like, "Whoa, this is sick."
Yeah, I'm fascinated. And how about the conference and projects? When I talk about the most, at least the projects that draw your attention most.
There were a lot of projects at the conference, but what I want to know from you is like, how does it feel to be on stage?
Oh, yeah.
And surrounded by all the speakers.
John crushed it.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think it was the first time that I talked in English for such a big crowd, and yeah, it's really good. It was a 4 minutes presentation, so I had to train like hours and on repeat to to really make it average. But yeah, it was interesting. Really nice to see the. I think like what we did in IP City draw attention from like the community because we were really focused on like practical in solving practical issues with technology. So this is usually the network state ecosystem. Usually there's like people that are more philosophical. I think everything is important in any way, but there's a lot more philosophical, so you understand concepts and theories and so on. And there is the deep tech, so crypto, like ZK, and then also it's kind of theoretical but more technical. And then there's a gap between the technology and the concepts to the real world, like apply this to solve real world. And of course, we didn't solve anything actually, but we experiment and we prototype in that direction. So that was, I think, was the differential. So this draw attention from Balaji, and
I think it might actually be like a tipping point for like the whole network state movement, because you're bringing together both sides and you're showing how these experiments like will run and how they will work. And I think Balaji does an incredible job at like, shaping narratives and getting things out there in communication. And we're just reaching way more people. So we're getting like more thinkers who can like pull the puzzle pieces together. And like, I think this is going to be a
getting
tipping point.
inspired from each other and
Yeah.
expanding the scope of what's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this time there was even some hardware at the conference.
Which hardware? Was this like that phone?
Yeah, Ethereum
okay.
phone. It's called the DGen one. It's running a new OS called EthOS, which you can read Ethos, I guess. But one of the newsletters we made was about it, and that was my first time seeing it in person, and I was really impressed.
What was the UX like?
But it's tactile screen, nothing special. It's a fork of Graphene OS, so it's an Android phone. But like they have this Game Boy design, and there's a laser on it. But yeah, I think I'm convinced I'm gonna get one. It's a really cool device.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's so many options out there for phones, so might as well push the blockchain phone and see what it's like.
Yeah.
They've been working on it for longer than the Solana phone. They just took longer to release.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's better.
I kind of want to try this phone now.
Well, I get one. I can get it right if you want.
Yeah, probably this is going to be like a leap in the user experience, because if you build a phone like crypto native, like to sign things and to connect your wallet in your website, should be like seamless.
We need more designers. That's what we need. Like in the I find like in the Ethereum community, we really nail tech well, and then like it takes a while for like the UX guys to come in, but I think maybe that will happen soon.
Yeah, definitely. And I think another thing that was impressed by, so we just to share like the whole day events, we mostly watched 10% maybe.
Yeah.
So it was like a really intense networking. So for me, I try to connect with most of the speakers and having conversations, and like Vitalik was in the speaker lobby, and I didn't have the courage to take a photo, but I was there. And he was like locked in the corner. And so next live, we are going to bring most important projects that present during the conference. But we talked a lot with founders and not necessarily people that were talk on the conference. So what were the interesting people that you met and projects that you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think what is interesting is seeing the convergence of folks that were doing similar things before like all of this momentum came to the space. Like even Akshat from Araya, like these guys, like it's just all these hacker houses and people getting together, building things. And now that like their knowledge base and the way they're thinking about it is expanding, it's like, oh, I can actually make this bigger. And so we'll probably continue to see more and more of that, because there's so many communities that are organizing outside of like the crypto space, outside of the tech space. It could be in music, like just arts and culture. And now like, yeah, we'll be able to like think a bit bigger of how we can make these things a society. So I think like meeting those folks were interesting. I'm biased towards people building in the mobility and immigration space. So I thought it was cool. I thought like not a lot of people were focused on it, but I was impressed with the amount of people actually thinking about these things very critically. There's one project, I think he presented Alpha Geo. They're solving for this. I met David from Nomad X. They're working on this as well. Yeah, just people doing very cool things. And then on the privacy side, people really think about like how can we incorporate privacy in like our entire ethos and so forth. But yeah, what about you guys?
There was a whole spectrum of profiles. Like I'm interested in people who write a lot about these topics, because I think we don't have enough words and descriptions of what they are and how they work. And I found lots and lots of people who just have a Substack and they're writing articles about this space, and they come from very different angles and very different sort of principles, but they're still gathering for these events and sharing like very similar values. So excited to see where like all of those articles go and how we can shape that into, I don't know, a better description of network societies, just so we don't have to stop at the network state book and we can move past that and have even more options and diversity in the space.
I feel like this is one thing that's common between every time we speak about network state. It's like we typically start with a definition. It's like we're all trying to figure out like what is the right, and it's almost like there's no like one right definition. It's like, okay, here's a baseline of where we start, and then let's, I don't know, the language anthropology field is going to be very interesting to explore as we figure it out. So that's a good point.
Yeah. So we went through a event from Leonardo, who I think the second panel he actually read all the. There is the small definition and there is the full definition, and he actually read all the
Even
definition.
our panel as well, our moderator, she started off by reading like the two definitions.
Yeah. So that was fun, but the second definition is like just like a lot of words that doesn't make many sense for outsiders.
Yeah.
But it's important to like be very clear what is a network state. And I think one thing that I want to point out, I think, is the last year we had already Forma on the conference and talking about as a pop-up city, and like they were trying to create. Solana was trying to create these special economic zones, but it was kind of small. But this year, I think, was the shift. Not shift, but it's very clear now that governance network states are a official or a serious strategy for blockchains, which makes a lot of sense. We've been, at least I've been talking about this for a while. Like, of course, they should having conversation with governments and trying to create laws and special economic zones, because once they get this, they're going to use their blockchains and create deals with that. So Solana is still like leading on that with Forma, and already have a MOU with Kazakhstan and so on. And now Base just
now Zcash.
Zcash, exactly. So the presentation of Zen, who is the global community manager of Base, was in that direction, like why Base is a network state, and they are like having these conversations with countries, and so I think that was fun and really bullish for the space.
Yeah.
Legitimacy.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, I guess blockchains were sort of created to settle the state of the world. And I can't remember who wrote it, but someone was the concept of like L1s as cities. And when you really think about it, like they have to work in tandem, because L1's economy is based on like flows and like economic activity and what is happening there. And it's the same thing for countries and the same thing for like actual physical spaces. What is the economy of that thing? And all of the economy in the physical world, that state could be settled on chain. And so, yeah, I think it makes sense.
It's not just economy, right? You have your identity, where your passport is now on chain, and you have degrees, and you have deeds of ownership.
Yeah.
Like just managing the ownership of things, whether it's like purely abstract or physical, that can be on chain.
Yeah. It's like the source of, like, what is the source of truth? And typically, like right now, the source of truth is like within a centralized government database. And so by injecting all of these primitives and working with these like folks in tech, you can now start to shift that and create like more modular systems that expand the space. And I think one is on the incorporation side. I know Forma is working on that as well. It's like, how can we bring all of these things on chain and just make it easier for people to get access to the full stack of Kazakhstan? So yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the search for a valid or a successful business model as well.
Yeah.
So it's like we can see a lot of opportunities, but you kind of have to find a sustainable business model to navigate this path, because otherwise you'll die very soon. So this balance is interesting. I think it's hard to find and be sustainable, and create these technologies in a way that are useful but also makes money. So did you see some interesting projects on that,
From
or models like that are
that's like a very common thread in this whole space. How do we fund these things, and
Yeah.
how do we like the longevity of it? I don't know, it seems like the best models or the ones that seem sustainable, especially on the funded like venture side as well as real estate.
Mhm.
And it's something to do with that, and maybe like pulling in different models from other industries, like the hotel thing of like time capsules where you like buy a year and whatnot. It seems like it's really venture funded and real estate so far.
But why not government? Like governments need this sort of tech, and they can fund the development for it. Isn't that what you do, by the way?
We're not governance, but I guess like we are more so on like the public service layer, and like services, like just a clear you pay for service and whatnot. With pop-up cities and like permanent hubs, is that okay? How do the infrastructure cost is extremely expensive, and it's like how do you convince a government to invest in it when you don't already have a network of community there? And I guess it just comes from proving it out by continuously doing these pop-up cities and showing, well, look, we've done 4, and 500 people has come total, and of these 500 people, like 60 to 70% are doing deep tech and actually building meaningful things that will eventually shape the world. And so you want to be associated with those individuals, and you want to nurture that. And I think that's like a meaningful pitch to governments for them to then invest into the infrastructure. And Vitalik, I think, spoke about this a lot, like on the reputation side. If there's a way to like quantify and show this, you now have like data and metrics that you can like leverage on top and negotiate with when you're speaking to potential stakeholders.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think we are going to see more of, we are just talking about this on the breakfast, about like structured data or standardized data on the individual, or even in the collective, in the community, so you can share with other entities and leverage the information. I think that's going to be great. And how about the amount of people that was I was kind of fascinated about how the growth of each network state event is like kind of exponential. Not exponential, but every year is growing more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like a common hype curve.
Yeah.
It's like a very steady curve. Like every year is more mature, the project is more mature, there's more, and it's like very exciting. Just like this year, it was like, I don't know, maybe 2,000.
I think they had like almost 8,000 signups. I don't know how many showed up. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
2,000
between person and online was like,
Yeah. It was so random. I saw someone from Barbados.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, there's like 5 people in Barbados that's into crypto in general.
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you doing here? Yeah, it was interesting. But how about you, Jean? Who did you meet that was interesting? I feel like because you got to interact with all the speakers, like got invited to all the VIP dinners.
Yeah,
like Jean was
yeah.
the cool one.
yeah. Yeah, I actually, we have even a talk today with Bradford from Alpha City, and I met him before, but now understanding more in depth his project. He was in stealth mode, so we didn't talk much about. It's pretty much mature, and they have a lot of deals already with a lot of land. So this kind of projects, like in the physical, like hardcore building cities, are popping up. Like which is like is not my thing, because it's like very hardcore, capital intensive, and you need like a then I don't know 10-year window to starting seeing some results. But these projects are popping up, and we saw our role in Zanzibar, this kind of thing. But now we are going to see, I think, a new generations, more advanced, more. So his project, I find interesting. I'm curious about the progress over the next years, but I think we are going to see good results from like more senior people.
I feel like we'll also remember these moments. I remember walking towards the car, and we had to like walk like 2 minutes, and we were talking about, imagine like 50 years from now when these cities are fully formed, and it's like these were the moments where things were actually happening, and like coordination, all of this, just even like going between Singapore and Malaysia and trying to find a cab and like all the hassle and all of that stuff. It's just interesting to see how that's going to change. I could imagine the next, I would say less than 2 to 3 years, it's probably some like easy mode of transport that allows you to just get between, and like you never have to think about it. And then we'll look back and say, whoa, look how far we've come.
You just make an easy form for the immigration card. I had to be 3 times this morning. Every time it takes 10 minutes.
Someone else in the car was like, he typed in his passport number wrong, and then when he was filling out the form, and so when we got to immigration, they're just like, you just have to redo the whole form right there again.
I don't even know why it didn't work for me. You just told me, the machine was like, nope, you get a queue.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And I checked everything, it was fine, because I had an email, right? Confirmation
Yeah.
email. Everything was fine. So I just did it again, changed the email, and it was fine. But every time it's like, you gotta fill in everything.
The whole infrastructure is just like maturing very quickly. I think folks, if you look 6 months ago where it was and where it is now, I wasn't here when it first, when the school first opened, but I heard like it's just been insane progress.
Oh yeah.
Like month over month.
Yeah, I was not here as well, but I saw a lot of photos and people sharing stories, and I was really impressed when I came here. Like, because I worked with Balaji in March and April 2024, and like it was right when he started to think about this for a place, and I was like, okay, not sure this is going to happen so fast. And no, let's build it. And then like 1.5 years later, like wow,
Insane.
and he got lucky because he find this place so close to Singapore and like kind of empty but with good infrastructure. Like what?
Yeah. Stars align.
Yes, exactly. So he was thinking about doing this in Dubai actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been nice.
and then he find here and like, okay, let's.
Yeah, I feel like these regions are just like, it's just so easy to experiment with, because it's like you kind of not really starting from zero. It's not like 0 to 1 because the infra is here already, but it's kind of like how Dubai was about 20 years ago. They had the malls, they had like the nice hotels and whatnot, but it was empty.
Mm-hmm.
It was like completely dead, and now it's good that they have that infrastructure there, because then they can start doing all the things that they do to market the place and get people there, host the events, and yeah. And so I think it's kind of the same thing we see happening here as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What was like your big takeaway from the whole? I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I think maybe like very, very personal, kind of humbled, like this, to see the amount of smart people like that are getting really serious and shipping great project. That's interesting because there's a mix like of 9% of like not very early stage and like inexperienced people that I start a network state business or whatever, and but there is like very serious people that are way ahead in terms of conceptualization or deals and the framework and business model, and so that make me realize like, oh, I need actually to be more connected with these people, like learn more, uh, be faster with the project, and be more even like bold,
Yeah.
like
Ambitious.
aiming more. So this was the kind of realization, like we had the potential. So I think we got far in the pop-up city space, but I think we had the potential to do more. So I think that was
Super inspiring.
Yeah. So I think that's one problem of being Brazil, and not Brazil, but like when you are the leading project in a specific space, you are kind of okay. I'm doing this thing,
I'm already leading.
Yeah,
It's chill.
and not about that. Like okay, and you don't have like other inputs or so you're. I think that's because that's why Silicon Valley are like a great place or a good place. I don't know more because you are doing like, oh yeah, you think you are crushing, and then there's another guy like 10x doing what you're doing, and then you get more ambitious and you learn more and you find more people talented. So I think this, and there's a reason to have this kind of place. So you find um, others ambitious people that complement your skill set. So yeah, I'm thinking a lot about this. I think Florianopolis can be an amazing hub, but we need to bring more people there, and also we travel more to other hubs and talk
This
to
is
these people.
it's like a master node.
Oh, yeah.
Like the network school, the network school of network states. Yeah.
And even you understand better the challenge because I take care like I when I am explaining IP City, for example, I don't say like we are building a city anymore because it's such a insane claim because it's really hard. Like
What do you say?
yeah, no, I'm saying the truth, which is we are building a community. So, we are building a community, and we are focused on building social and governance technologies. So the goal is to experiment with crypto and AI to improve the governance system. So, which is like insanely big. So, and like it's very common to see, for example, early startups saying, "Oh, I have a CD platform," which is kind of weird because there's no company platform, and company is way less complex than a CD. There's no way like, oh, I'm launching a platform to. No, if you look the administration of a company, there is hundreds of software that SaaS that you use to run your own financial, people, and messaging and
Because it's like
planning.
it's a whole thing, like the amount of like expertise required to like build and manage that software when you also have to like do the on the ground work of like coordinating your community, and it's just like two different games that you're playing.
We are going to see dozens of verticals in governance, and within a vertical is going to have like thousands of startups doing similar things, like immigration, like several different nuances and so on. So but because we are in such early stage, it's hard to see the solutions, like because you're so used to use like a passport, or how can you innovate in passport, how you can digitalize passport. No, you can how Balazs says is the unbundle of the passport. So there's an ID, and then there's the record, and maybe there's a AI that check. I don't know, like the thousands of possibilities within the legacy passport. So this applies for every major.
Like phones is a good example. Like remember when you had to like send a snail mail, and no one could ever see in that moment, oh, I just pick up this thing and I can like chat to you who's on the other side of the world. Like it's hard to see it in the moment. It's just like just keep building, and like I think what is interesting is that we have all of the primitives to experiment to get to the solution super fast.
No, this example is perfect because the error of like really smart people thinking about how many apps is going to exist ever is like 20, 50. Even Steve Jobs, like, oh, how many apps could be like, let's build within Apple. Like, there's no reason to have a marketplace. And then they were wrong by 3 or 4 orders of magnitude, like way more, like millions of apps. So it's because we are not trained to think in internet native way. Imagine for governance. So it's like insane opportunity to create.
That's so true. What about you, Eric? What was like your biggest takeaway?
I think one of my takes would be that compared to the startup space, where like I've been to a lot of conferences for startups in many different industries, people are used to say, oh, 99% die and stuff like that, which is true. And so year on year, you don't really see the same people, or people work for different startups. It's like, oh, you meet someone and they're like, oh, I actually changed job like 3 times this year. But in this space, I'm seeing a lot of consistency. Like, it's the same pop-up cities as last year, and they just get building, and they're still around, and they're still pushing. And this is impressive, right? So we saw new ones. There are new projects coming up, but like not so many that just like disappeared, and we don't hear about them. Or I mean, I've been researching the space for a while, and I know many like failed projects, whether it's software or physical in network states. But they, like this time, for like a 1 year timeline, I can't think of one project that just blew up and disappeared.
It's probably like early signs of PMF. These things like it could be.
It's like, how do they even survive, right? It feels like the one's making money, but they're still around.
Yeah, this is funny because, for example, we in the startup world, in the economic world, you have an idea and you are not sure if you have demand, and then you create like an MVP, and then there's no demand for that. I was crazy about this. But governance, we know that there is an insane demand for good governance. Of course, people want to live in a place that are safe and good infrastructure, and without surveillance, with freedom of speech, part of society. Other parts are not. I'm not sure, and the problems is then the other side of the market to create this. So uh, this is an interesting phenomenon, I think. So those who create first, I think you're going to have like a massive flow of
Massive upside.
yeah.
I actually have a question for you. On the pop-up city side, what actually goes into? I've never planned a pop-up city. I've attended, but what does it take to actually organize a pop-up city? Is it akin to like organizing a conference as big as Network State? Like, what does that look like?
Big power.
Yeah, that's so many things, but I think first is the usual coordination of people. You need to make sure that people are aligned and like working.
Do you guys do like a filter and like a go through the individuals and then
Oh
approve
yeah,
yeah?
that was a big part.
Mm.
So that was something that I was in charge of. That like, let's make sure that everyone that came as an architect, as a builder,
Mm.
passed through an application process. So we created this application process to make sure people are aligned. So I think we made one mistake only, like someone like kind of weird in the ideology side,
Mm.
but overall was great, and we managed to attract really great builders. And but I think that was not the hard part. The hard part is like the everyday logistics and alignment and understand what's happening. And because it's when you create like a conference or even a 2 day or 3 day conference, you put a lot of energy and then you're done. So there's a lot of problem, but you put that energy in during overall a month you can do that,
That's like,
and
yeah.
you burn out in a week.
But is it just the same? Is it like, does it get easier as the days go on, or is it just always like fires everywhere?
It's not there is fires, but not that many. But the problem, you need to put energy like kind of every day to incentivize people to help the because this is something that I learned. It's not enough to bring smart people in a place. You know
Yeah.
that saying like, oh, if you bring smart people, awesome things are going to happen.
The
That's
Academies
not true.
probably like bring them and they will build.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
Melissa,
that's
build it and they will come.
that's absolutely not true. So you need to bring people, and you need to create a structure, a framework, so they build, they connect. So you incentivize the connections, you incentivize, as we are talking about network states and governance, you need to share some ideas, some ways of thinking. Oh, why you don't build this? A
Plant
solution.
seeds, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is like a recurring thing, everyday thing, and it takes so much
Because like you
energy.
have to think for like what could they possibly want, like what seeds or interesting. Okay,
Exactly.
so on the alignment thing, I think it's straightforward, like finding individuals who are aligned. What do you look for to say that, okay, you are not aligned? And so, yeah.
It's pretty easy if they are engaged on Twitter and they put the word out. But mostly people that are not pro technology, are not pro freedom, they are kind of far left or far right. They are pro, I don't know, communism, or they kind of or fascist. This kind
Have
of
you seen?
extreme.
Have you
Oh,
ever
there's a
seen
lot.
coming
Yeah,
through
we live in
on the
Brazil.
application?
Yes, it's if you open the X or YouTube, Instagram, social media, and it's pretty, and people share their view. It's pretty easy to spot.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, And
I guess that's why like the immigration officers are now asking for your digital footprint. They want to see like,
oh yeah, pretty
it's the
easy.
same thing, yeah.
So the things that they share. So it's pretty easy because have you entered like a social media that's like as you scroll like there's like share of only negative things and like or fake things like
Conspiracies.
conspiracies like and there's those who like sharing optimist things and building things. Oh, this is my project. Like they are not talking about like much like the cultural war or something like that. It's like pretty much a technologist or engineer or entrepreneur sharing there. So this is the profile that we are looking for because the other guy they complain a lot. They are troublemakers. They are not aligned. So if you have a conversation where you have to explain the importance of startup societies and or even crypto, like this is a good sign.
That's a good filter, probably. Yeah.
If people no Bitcoin, like that, there's a deal breaker. So and that's why we are building the space to build on top of these technologies. You don't want to explain the things or argue
Yeah.
with this. We can create other space to argue about this, or more mainstream spaces when you're going to explain why network states are important. So this is other space, but a pop-up city should be like everyone comes here with the certainty that everyone is aligned to build the things that you think should exist in the world. So this is very important. Of course, for us was easy this because like 50% is very small. But once you get like to the hundreds and thousands, then this becomes very challenging.
This is the thing, like they talk about a lot, like complexity scales, like as things scale, and then like how do you, like what is the tipping point of like where it's like, okay, now we need to create sub communities and have them coordinate better and have like leaders and whatnot. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, and then the usual challenges of finding capital, finding talents to help to join the team. This is are common problems of every endeavor. But what was your perspective in?
But I didn't know you put so much effort in the filtering. I have no social media presence.
You have like your stuff that you publish, you've done.
I put some writing out there, but I
Yeah.
have 3 followers. So.
That's enough.
It's work in progress.
Yeah, that's this perception is interesting because I think one thing that we did right was because I had a startup before, and it was a B2B startup, so I had a lot of sales, like like going after like people on LinkedIn, just cold messaging, this kind of sales. So for this, like we had a lot of inbounding pre-registrations, and then to convert, it was not really cheap, like traveling to Brazil and pay for the ticket. So we had to put a lot of effort going, like talking, calling, and explaining and convincing at least the better ones. So yeah, that's a lot of effort.
That was before being on stage at a big conference.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is IP? What is this weird symbol? What we are talking about?
Wait, okay, actually, what is that word symbol?
Yeah, in Portuguese we have it's the right way to say IP is
Okay.
like
Got the same in French.
Does that translate when you type in? I think our thing is gonna die.
Oh.
Is there like when you type in the browser,
we can wrap up.
it works, right? IPE.city. Does
Uh,
that work, or because I know
no,
like
without
ARC they
without the
translate.
symbol. Without the symbol.
It works without the symbol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. We're coming up to time. What does like the next 3 months look like for you guys? Given
Oh.
everything that you've learned and taken in and
Yeah, I think I did a lot of great connections here. There's a lot of people interested in be partner of IP, so that's exciting. So we are going to talk with Solana and Base and other projects to create houses during BP Village. So we have this thematic, I don't know if this is a word, houses with different images. Yoda probably is coming as well house. So the residents can navigate and explore different technologies in different houses, maybe different culture, different vibes, and even maybe if it's a big house, apply to be a guest there and accommodate there and be more immersed in the space. And I think this is a good one. The other one is launch the V2 of the app. So I think we have a lot of things to do, but the next EP app, super app, is going to be better, so people can maybe have a small API or SDK, so they can build on top of
Nice.
the
keep it modular.
modular. Exactly. So the goal is this, like bring people to build the EP app and get rewarded this city infrastructure and leverage our community to launch their apps, their products. So we create this digital economy and share the underlying economic value generated by that.
You guys have do you have a token right now?
We have a proof of work token.
Okay.
So everyone that collaborates contributes with the everything from content to organization to building products got a reward. So that's the only way to get a token is contributing, and then we are going to tokenize and distribute the tokens in the future. But we are keeping track of the.
I think it's similar here. There's like
Yeah.
for the content creators and
Mhm.
stuff. I think people are like even trying to farm.
Yeah.
Farm and startup society.
Yeah. It's always.
It's coming.
But how about you?
For the next 3 months, yeah, we met a lot of great partners. I feel like we have all the right moving parts, and DevConnect is going to be where we unveil a big product. So I'm just kind of like heads down. I'm spending a lot of my time on product because it's so hard to find like amazing designers. So that, and then close out some deals with governments. I think just like being here in Singapore and like seeing the energy, I do want to spend more time in this region as well. And working with like network state communities and figuring out like these different residency programs and how we can help them negotiate with governments directly. So yeah, it's pretty packed last quarter.
Great.
And you, Eric?
Similar. Like I talk to so many people that are doing interesting things. I want to research more, like understand exactly what it's about. Like Futarchy, for example, is a sort of kind of the new governance thing for me. And
What?
Futarchy,
Unfortunately,
it's
yes.
like prediction market, but for what you think, what you believe in. You know, can you decide what's the next pizza by betting tokens on the gambling app? I want to learn more about that, and I need to get into the habit of like writing what I'm learning so I can synthesize and share the knowledge to the builders. Like hopefully building something so when people come to IPCT, they're already trained and they've already like learned enough. So then last time there was a clear feedback for me was like I really saw that some people know their stuff on governance, some people know their stuff about crypto, some people know their stuff about Solana in particular, but then like knowing everything about everything is impossible.
Yeah.
So we did a good job last time of like sort of like a non-conference, and everyone could organize their own events and teach each other. But we need to be more prepared. So like there's no lack of knowledge. Like if there's a hole in people's knowledge, then we can't know it ahead of time, and it's kind of a shame. Like we're wasting time and resources if we don't know what they don't know.
I wonder if you can make like a global, Network School's probably working on it, I'm not sure, like a global wiki for the whole space and understanding like certain principles, even like best practices and like documenting the journey and things that, you guys have learned, creating pop-up cities, working with governments, coordination systems. I think like just like recording that and having like a record of that is actually part of accelerating things, because now you can feed it to an AI model and then say how, like, what could we have done differently? Like, yeah. So very valuable information to put there. And if you like Futarchy, there was this one, it was a prediction market a long time ago that I saw where people would put in what they think the next headline of the New York Times is going to be the day before. And, and then like on the day of, this AI just like chooses the one that is closest, the person who's able to predict the closest headline. And it was insane how close they were getting to it. One actually like predicted a lot of the stuff that happened with the war, and so I think like that's an interesting thing to look into as well.
That's very interesting.
So many things that we can do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually are thinking about a governance engineer program, something like that, where we can connect the concepts of governance network states with the technology. I think this is a massive gap that we have, and we find out during the pop-up. And I think we need to like, oh, this is the problem, or this is the technology, and connect. So experiment with that and so on. And actually teach how to use the technology as well. So forecaster, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we need to make more progress on that. And I can't believe we didn't mention the documentary. So maybe maybe we could let this for the next one.
I
It's in the
mean,
newsletter. It's just
it's a teaser, I guess.
Yeah.
John did a private screening at the Draper House, and I really enjoyed it. Of the Network Society documentary. I actually cried watching the documentary. It was really good.
Yeah, that's a good.
So congrats on that.
Thank you. So we are going to, I think, screen tomorrow and maybe over the week here in the Network School. So it's private screening yet, but we are trying to get some feedback, understand what we can improve. But I think it's very, very close to the final cut. We just need to fix stuff, very small details that no one's going to notice, but
Except
we
you.
notice and we need to fix. and then very soon, over, I don't know, maybe less than a month, we are going to publish. I was thinking about this, maybe we should have published during the conference. So
I think that was like just right after.
Yeah,
It's good
yeah.
to publish because there's so much momentum around it. People are already thinking about these things, and like, how else do you stay within this energy that is cultivated? So I think
Yeah. So let's take advantage of this.
yeah.
let people absorb the 9 hours of
Yeah, exactly. So what? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a
Well,
wrap.
that's the wrap. It's been a good week, guys. We survived.
Okay, so
Next one
see
online.
you next week.
Next fortnight.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh.
Oh, I forget to start.